Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this stream. We already have something setting up here, but before we check out what we have, as we have some time, we'll turn off the music a little bit here and get ready for this trading day. So, what I've been looking at today is that our moving average are now starting to turn bullish. We have this nice uptrend here, and I am looking for a trade at the 48,617 area, so something like this. I want to target the area somewhere up here, looking for a 1 2 3. So we definitely had some interest in this area before, so our take profit needs to move to here, and we are now looking for a bounce back here in this area, and from there on we hopefully push up higher here. So the higher time frames are all still bullish here. We are in some form of a range on the 5 minute. If we take a look at it, we have this range area here, so we are bouncing in between this level. So this is hopefully a accumulation phase to then move higher, also on the higher time frames. If we take a look at the daily chart here, from my point of view, we have created some form of a double bottom here, and what this low was, let me make the color white so we can see it better. So this low was just, from my point of view, a liquidity trap. So we have get all the stop losses that were below the 67,000 area, so they all got stopped, and then this was our liquidation created to now go up higher. But for this to form to an uptrend, we need to break the 89,000 area, and from here on we could trade back up to the 100k area. So this is something what I'm looking forward in the Bitcoin in the next weeks, that it hopefully confirms this double bottom. And also on the RSI, if my eye spots it right, let's just remove this. If my eye spots it right, this was also a divergence, so price was making lower lows, but on the RSI we were making higher lows. So this means this was a bullish divergence here, which has now led to this first spike up. And on the weekly we are still, let me just, this was the wrong button. I want to remove all paintings so we can see a clear screen. We are still in a perfect uptrend. You see, we have now pushed up, high, low, high, hopefully have now made this low and are looking forward to push this high. So people were panicking, but if you would have zoomed out the bigger chart, this is a perfect uptrend here, which we have almost bounced off the last wick here at this area. And if we now keep continuing pushing up here, then we could definitely see some targets of the, maybe 200k, 150k is the first area I'm targeting this, because if I take this move here, and let's say we are starting from here, then we see this move is around the 130 area where we could trade into. So I'm just opening the chat so I see all the messages. Hey Kevin, nice to see you in the chat. Nice to have you here. So this is what I'm currently thinking of Bitcoin, that this pullback was perfectly fine. We were just in need of a pullback on the higher time frame and are now continuing, hopefully higher. So let's see. We are currently having a order placed at the 84,670 area. Maybe we could get a push up to here, pullback, and then we can get our trade filled. We do see some nice volume here coming in. We are not yet filled, so for everybody that is joining, I will just make a text that we have a limit order at $84,670. Not that people are thinking that we in. So this is really looking good, and we could now get our pullback into this area here, because we need to be careful as well, as this is now the 0.618 retracement of this move to the downside. But as we are in this range that I said, and we have definitely made a fake out here, I'm looking for price to move back to at least this area up here. So it's good for us now that we are at this area. We see a push to the downside. People are now starting to sell on the higher time frame, as we have made this big push here. So I'm looking to bring us down into our target area where we want to get into the trade. And here I am looking for a long today, the daily chart. I'm not thinking, when I look at this candle, that we push it all the way to the downside. So my bias is bullish for today. So this is the idea for today. Let's see if we can get filled. But this is definitely an area where a lot of people are selling. But we have now also a cross on our moving average, and we have big gaps left up here. That's why I'm pretty confident in trying to take a long here, but waiting for our retracement now. So for now, it's sitting and waiting. Thomas, I hope this gave you now the power to endure the markets. You have enough proteins now to get into this mental workout of staring at the chart and doing nothing. But you know the rules. It's first the charts, then taking care of your girlfriend. So let me know in the chat, has anybody of you taken any trades today? If yes, you can send it to me so I can check out what you were looking at, what trades you have taken. And we now need to be patient on what the market is doing, but finally we are getting a little bit of a relief after this push to the downside. Yeah, finally some green numbers back here in the market overall. And let's hope we continue with this momentum to the upside. Let's see. See, I often use this chart. It's called the Heikin Ashi, to just block out the noise. You see clearly push and pullbacks, push and pullbacks. You know, and here you also see our range that we are trading in, because let's check. Let's go into a trend. Where is this random? let's look at this chart. So you see there's always push, when it was here, pullback, push, pullback. And with this chart you can easily spot the current state of the market. I mean, here is a good example of looking at the chart. You see a clear double bottom, push, pullback, push, pullback. So you could always try to get an entry, you know, here, pullback area, and back here at the structure. So this is often a chart to block out all the noise and get a clear vision. So there was now a funny comment somebody wrote. I don't see it coming to our entry, which is at 84,670 again. I know this is the thing where people start FOMO buying now. A market moves in waves. And yes, it's hard to watch price going up. But I know from experience, prices are coming down. And maybe price is just coming down to 84,750 and we don't get filled and it goes up. But this is part of the game. So you need to be patient. Pullbacks will occur. We have our structure and there is no trend without a pullback. And this is what we see on the bigger time frame as well. I mean, we have seen a big push. Let's go to weekly. We have seen a big push from 70,000 to almost 110k, but the pullback was still there. So there were probably a lot of people jumping here, here, and here, jumping the gun, thinking, okay, Bitcoin will now pump up to 200k. And even if it had pumped up to 200k, which would on the chart look a little bit weird if we have candles pushing up to almost here, then the retracement would be even harder. But if we just imagine the scenario, if we move up to 200,000, then we would have still seen a pullback of almost 50%. So this is really important for people to be patient, wait for your entries and not jump the gun just because you see one candle that looks like this. Yes, seeing volume is nice, but we also now know that we take our tools, we see, okay, there is this area where we are looking for a pullback and hope to continue on this structure. We have our moving average. So now that do play a significant role in crypto trading. I've just been playing around with it a little bit, but I could also block it out because I just see the structure of high, low, high, low, and now looking for a new high. And this is a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, and now the fifth wave I'm looking for. So this is it, what I'm currently looking at. This is the fourth wave of the 5-move trend, because trend often moves in 5 waves. Then we get a correction, a smaller correction, and then we either continue or we switch the trend. But in this case, I'm looking for a trend continuation, and we might see a pullback to the 0.5 area, which is now our entry. So everything is perfectly on track here. We just need to be patient and wait for price to come back and fill us, or fill our order. The target is around 85,370, but it's those wicks up here. So I'm thinking of 85,266. So almost a 1 to 3. It's a 2.56 risk to reward ratio. I will just edit this in the group because we have some time. My orders are already placed. 70s take profit for a risk to reward of 1 to 2.56, which means if at your entry point you have a position size of $100, at this point you will make around 250. But it's important that we don't think in terms of money. It's really important that we think in terms of risk factors, or you can also think it as bullets. So let's say $100 equals 1 bullet. And if we win this trade, you have your 1 bullet and you add 2 point, and let's say we have a half bullet magazine into it. So in addition, you can miss 2.5 shots, let's say 2 shots, and you still have not lost the $100 you have risked here. But you had the potential or the chance to make, let's say, another 2 bullets out of the 2 bullets you have gained here. So you would have made in total 4.5 bullets that you can lose and shoot and still have not lost your initial $100, because after this trade, the next 2 trades are basically risk-free because you're at your $100 starting point. And now the importance is not to increase this amount, the $100 amount, but we want to first not build 1 magazine with bullets inside. We want to build a whole chamber of magazines that we can shoot. And let's say we have now made 20%. So this means out of your $100, you have now $2,000. And now you can start, I didn't want to put percent, I want to put $1. You now can start putting up this number here because we have a nice cushion to maybe 150. So then your win of, let's take now 3 bullets, which we currently are aiming for, equals not $300 anymore, but it's $450. So you have built a cushion here. You can up your reward from 300 to 450, and this now gives you the opportunity to do something, to use this as again either 3 bullets, or you size down and now you go back to 100 and you have 4.5 bullets which you can shoot in the market. And this is basically the whole concept of risk management explained in a shorter term. So this is the whole idea of how you keep capital. And of course we are not always winning. That's why you should not take $100 and risk it all at one trade. You could also follow this strategy. Let's say you have $1,000, but you just use $100 per trade. Then you could lose 10 trades to be at 0. But let's say, for example, you win 5 trades and you lose 5. Then you have made 15 risk factors or 15 bullets, but only lost 5. So you are now left with 10 bullets you can shoot, and your win rate is just 50%. So half of your trades you have lost, but you are still up 10 bullets you can shoot in the market. So that's why you don't need to think in just one trade. If you lose one trade, it's okay. But if you know your strategy, if you know your game, and you know that if you can even still lose 2 bullets and hit 1 target, you are still back at 0. So this is really, really important that you keep that in mind, that losing is nothing bad, and it's just to think about the longer outcome. You need to think about a lot of trades. That risk management is so important that you stick to your rules, and if a trade fails, you don't fall into this trap of over trading and risking more. You need to make your money back. No, this is a long-term process. There is no getting rich quick in trading. And yes, we have all seen the Wall Street bets gamblers that have made a little bit of a fortune by doing dumb things, but this is not healthy. And I'm really sure they will lose their money faster in the markets than they wanted, because they just have not learned these things about risk management and all these concepts and ideas. I want to remove it like this. This is faster now for me. Remove all the drawings that we have done here. So this was a little bit of a excurse. I did not want to remove what we have drawn here. And now it's just a waiting game here. I mean, in the meantime, we can look at something what happened today. So this is what happened today to OM, to a coin. I mean, this is crypto. Things like that can happen. I mean, they have made it clear that this was not a rug pull from the side of the developers. There are some other reasons to this, but yeah, sometimes this is also entertainment, but I mean, sad on the other point, because a lot of people have probably lost money here. But sometimes also charts can look like this. This is why risk management is so important. Even though if people were, let's say, pushing here for a uptrend, that at some point they still put their stop here, because if this is a valid move to the upside, we would have seen a bounce here, which we were in. So we have bounced here and we're likely to go up further. At this point, people would still have made money that entered down here because they had risk management. And then if they look back and see this candle, you certainly know that they are happy that they have applied risk management and were not greedy at the point, trading without a stop loss. So this was a great example for you to show why it's so important to have risk management. Trading is about making money at some point, but also protecting it. So we need to protect the money we make by applying risk management. And maybe even if the trade just makes a small pullback here and continues up and we lose it, we tried. We were there, we made our analysis, but you know, out of experience and spending so much time in the markets, I'm pretty confident that, and it would be healthy for us, that we see this move down here, back to our structure at point 1, and then just continue to the upside and keep up this uptrend. Maybe it can also be the part that this is today the real play, and it goes here, here, and breaks here and moves down further. But then our whole daily candle would flip, and I'm pretty bullish on this setup and this range play. All the numbers are on futures chart. So, sorry, it's spot, but as I'm using BitGet, the numbers are not that much off, so I can quickly take a look at the chart. So if I go to the 5-minute chart, my order is placed at 84,600 and yeah. It's 650. So on spot chart it's 670. So, and on my side it's 50. So the futures charts are a little bit lower here. So it's 650 on BitGet. But to be honest, this makes a difference of cents. So I'm looking or taking what I get displayed here. But the chart we currently look at is the spot chart, but I could also open up the let me filter real quick. We want to get chart and coin. This would be the, so it would be 84,640 as you see. So we can look at this chart and it's up here. My thoughts on Link. Let me take a look. Yeah, but I will not jump back up here. Yeah, thoughts on Link. I was pretty bullish on Link, to be honest. And I'm still really bullish on Link. When we were trading back into this $16 area, so this area that I had marked here, because if you look at this, we are now in need of a fifth wave to finish this uptrend here, and we made a really deep retracement into this $10 area here, which sparked, so this area here was a accumulation, and then we sparked our move to $30, and now we are again back in this area, almost at the same, it was the same price we came back to after we started rallying up here on the weekly chart. So you could also see this was our resistance, we supported, we came back, we have not touched it, so it was $9.79, so it was something like this, to be honest. But if we keep bouncing from here, I mean, this is still a perfect looking uptrend with, in this case, a really deep retracement. And if we look at the fib, and it's almost, you can count it as a 0.786 retracement. Yes, we have pushed a little bit down further, but we closed around the 0.86 area, which is the last hope in the retracement. But then it's a really deep retracement. But I'm still really bullish, not because of the chart, but because of the technology behind it. So me, for myself, I'm invested in Link because of the technology. It is the entry from my point of view for the traditional markets to get into the world of decentralized finance. Link has all the tools. I mean, they have big partnerships and everything. And then I agree with you, Niels, that I'm also not looking at the $50 area. So, I mean, first target is with the chart I have here. It's not printed on the left. So there was, let's open up a chart. We can see it on the spot chart. Yeah, so we can see it here. Let's repaint what we were looking at. But this is our area. Here we have accumulation. So I'm also looking at somewhat of funny. $50 also not here. So all-time high was at something like 52 dollars. And I'm also looking for, if I take the dip targets, I have something like $70 in mind for the first target, but on the longer time frame, let's say 5 years, I'm definitely aiming for something like $100. I mean, if we look at Solana was $300, and Ripple is pumping because what you mean with FA? You mean fundamentals, or I mean, we have seen coins that are that don't have this much utility and partnerships than Link do, and they are trading in the hundreds area. So I'm really confident for the next years for Link. I'm also a big fan of Link, but it's really important that we now see the bounce from here, and maybe it took around 50 days. It was 42 days, so 6 weeks to spark up here to the 31 area, and this is definitely then my first area to break. So we need to break the 31 area. And to be fair, with ETH, if you look at the ETH chart, let's take a look. We are just in a big. This is a big range for, yeah. This is the high, this is the low. So we are in this range here for almost 1,600 days. So this is roughly 5 years. We are trading in this range. And to be honest, yes, if we now spike up to this area and we see a bull run, so we break to the upside, we could see the 10,000 areas, but ETH was really lacking behind with technology upgrades and everything. So I don't know what the future of ETH will be. I think there will be better solutions in the future, and that's why I'm, in terms of, say, X, I mean, to this high here, it would be, let's say, almost 200%, so 2 times your money, and Link has a potential of already all-time high is 5x. So I do see a potential in Link to be the better bull run choice. And also with the technology it brings, I think it's just more useful for the broader mass than Ethereum. I agree, in coming years, easily $100 plus. Like you said, with Solana and Ripple market cap, it would be already at $150 to $200. Yes. So if you have the market cap comparison of Ripple, which has the same technology or are in the same fields which they are operating, then Link would be at $150 to $200. And from my point of view, Link is a top 3 coin because of the use case and everything that it has to bring. I mean, there is, I think, the Swift implementation end of 2025. So Swift is a international payment provider, and they are moving, I think, they have a transaction volume of 1 billion per day. Just need to think from Europe to US metrics. And yeah, so I'm really bullish on Q4 in 2025. I mean, we first need to see a break of the all-time high and get a little bit of a relief push. But charts are looking now ready to push back up. I mean, we see global, we see the money supply is rising. I mean, when the Fed will cut rates and put on their money printers, I'm really certain. I mean, we don't know anything, as we have seen this now obvious pullback appearing on Bitcoin. You know, I was looking at the chart and I was like, okay, we could have seen this coming, this pullback, because there is no chart without a pullback. I mean, look at the traditional markets. Let's just look at the US 100. I don't know how far back it goes. Just go at the monthly chart. Look at this. We are starting now here in 16, but the historical chart is looking different. We have always seen deep retracements after big pushes. Here we have seen this move. Here we have seen this move back to this area. So this is nothing unusual that has happened in the markets. But people, this is crypto, are a little bit more less educated on risk management, and I don't want to attack somebody here, but you know, we all know in crypto there's so much scam going on, so much how can I get rich quick, pumping meme coins, what is the next thing that will make me rich, that people tend to panic on moves like this, which was now a 30% move to the downside. But instead of panicking here, you could use this as an opportunity to buy, and just back at all-time high you would have already made 30% because you were averaging in your positions where you maybe started to buy here. So you would be up here 65%. Let's say you put $100 here, then you are up 65% here. And then again, instead of panicking because you are now back at $60, you add to your position, and up here you have already doubled your money because you have learned that markets move in patterns. So market moves in wave. There is always this, and maybe the retracement looks like this, and then we have this price action, but then we push up. So it's really important to zoom out in crypto. And I mean, I have at some point posted, it was at the last retracement, posted a tweet on Twitter that we will certainly see the 70 areas, just because of you can just use this simple tool and take the Fibonacci and measure how deep the pullbacks will go, and we see we are now back in the golden zone. So with indicators like we had this divergence here, grab the liquidity, and now pushing up, this could have been a nice setup for you to enter now a long-term positions. But that's what we are here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to educate on risk management, on not being in fear when the market dumps, because yes, it's hard. We are not bound to losing. We don't know how to lose, right? Because that's not how our human brain works. We work on reward, but we also need to learn how to lose, and this is really important in trading. And yes, it's so hard to endure positions that are in a negative, but in the longer term it will always play out, because the financial markets have moved like this for the last 60-70 years. Why should there be this extreme change that we see prices not moving like this, but instead move whatever, like this. So just some random things that are happening, you know, because of news, and we are not the big players here in the game. We have no impact on the charts, so we can just position ourselves, apply good risk management, and maybe we are sometimes part of the liquidity and we get stopped, and this hurts. But with risk management applied, this will never make you question yourself as a trader. So this is really important. Okay, my headphones died here. You have any more questions? Niels wrote something. DTC end of April 2025 showcase, November 2025 Swift live integration. Yes, so we have some bullish news in April and in November for Link. So hopefully the bull phase has now just shifted a little bit, and I don't think that this cycle is over. I mean, you need to think that we are at the start of something. Crypto is something new. Imagine you were one of the first guys that was experiencing the internet, and you were able to trade stocks, so you were able to buy Google. Imagine how the people were laughing maybe at someone that was saying, okay, this is the next big thing, that have recognized the power of this. And now look at how big Google has become, or Amazon. You know, you always need to remind yourself of the traditional markets, and that you have now this opportunity to be this early, because I think there is 0.05% of the population knows about crypto. So be lucky that you are one of these persons. And yes, we all would be happy if we have bought Bitcoin at $1 at some point. So I have known about Bitcoin at $800, where I first got into crypto. So it was $800, and ETH was, I think, around $100, something like this. But yeah, to be honest, I did not buy this there, so I can be dishonest. But this is where I started getting into crypto, and Bitcoin was around at 800. Seeing it now at 85,000 is crazy. And if we are fair, Bitcoin only brought the blockchain to us. So yes, you can move it, you can sell it to people, you can buy things with that. So it's digital money. But with Link, because I'm a really big fan of Link, we have some really big use case for the money makers to get into this market and money movers. So there will be a big change at some point where we move away from this traditional finance thing. And yes, of course, you could also argue that, okay, we have everything on the blockchain, everything gets logged and everything gets tracked, but we still have anonymous wallets. So there is no name assigned to your wallet, and this is the big difference. And the structure and network is so big that it's way harder to. People are fearing crypto that they get control, but I think it's the opposite. It gives you the freedom to move your money without having to pay fees to a bank, having to pay fees to whatever. So you have so many people in between that see where you're sending money to, instead of, I want to send my friend $100, so I send him, let's say, 5 Link or whatever, and I have to pay a fee of almost nothing. So this is really the case why I think crypto will be a big part of the future. I mean, people that now say crypto is dead or something are just blind. I mean, we see nations adopting it. We see the US buying it. We have a lot of states that have prepared to buy Bitcoin, and nations that want to shift away from gold and hold Bitcoin. We see big companies like Sailor buying it. So there will be no future without crypto. This is what I'm thinking, and what I'm believing in, that this is really a technology, like I said, like the internet, that we will use to evolve as humans. Is it in let's say tracking? Just imagine you are having a factory and you want to track at what station something has been manufactured. So you can track the process from the start to the beginning just by clicking back into your block. So where it come from, you just go back, you go back, you go back, and you see the origin. You see every piece where it's associated to, because here you have your block, and then you would see up here, okay, this is the screw I used on this thing here, but everything is connected and documented automatically, and this is really insane for the industry, if they can use a system like this. So we have a lot that we can build on with crypto. Okay, so our trade is slowly retracing. I do think that this was our top here, so 58,000. Hopefully seeing our retracement back. I think that this will happen when the stream has finished, to be honest, but we have made the analysis. I will leave my position open, and then I will update you once, this is my phone, once something has happened. If we push away too far, I will just cancel my trade. If we now break the structure here and already form a move to the upside, then I will cancel my trade. But For now, I will leave it open like this. It's looking good, waiting for the retracement here. I will set my alert and then I would end this stream here. It was really nice. We had some good topics that we talked about. I always want to emphasize on risk management. We were looking at different charts, so it was really entertaining. I hope you were able to learn a little bit. It was also a nice talk about the future of crypto, and I hope you can enjoy your evening, your day, wherever you are.